Everyone has told a lie at some point in their lives. Imagine a world in which no one can lie. That is the setting for our story, a place where everyone from beggars to national leaders always tells the truth because they don't know how to lie. Mark is a man who has not accomplished much in his life. One day he decides to try his luck by going on a date with a stunning woman named Anna. However, when Anna sees him, she is not impressed because he arrives so early that he has plenty of time, and she instructs him to wait. To be completely honest, Mark tells Anna that he can't take her to an expensive restaurant because his boss might fire him next week. Anna responds bluntly, admitting that she doesn't like him. Things get worse when the waiter openly teases Anna, claiming that her age is comparable to Mark's daughter. Later, while Anna was at the restaurant, her mother called and asked, "Hey son, how did you like him?" In response, Anna asks, "What should I tell your mother?" Her words, while intended to be honest, come across as mocking, especially when she mentions that Mark took her to a cheap restaurant. Mark returns to his office at Lecture Film Studio the following day. A colleague introduces him to everyone, claiming that he is the company's screenplay writer while also calling him the laziest and most useless person, adding that no one should remember him because the company is about to fire him. As soon as Mark walks into the office, his coworker shyly insults him, and his boss, Anthony, fires him almost immediately for poor work performance. Before Mark can recover from the blows, he receives an email from Anna. In it, she writes that while he is a good person, he is a little fat and poor, and she does not want her future children to be fat and poor either, so he is rejected. While leaving the office, his friends Brad and Shiley tell him that they have always felt embarrassed to work with Mark, and that they believe Mark will be a loser for the rest of his life. Following that, Mark visits his mother in a nursing home. He tells her everything, including that their entire family is full of losers. When he returns home, the house owner arrives to collect the rent. Mark launches into his lengthy story of misfortune. Frustrated, the house owner warns him, "I'm giving you 1 day. Clear out of the house and get lost with all this nonsense." Finally, Mark decides to close his bank account and withdraw all of his money. However, the cashier informed him that his account could not be closed because the system was not working. She adds that she can only give him cash right now. She inquired, "Sir, how much money do you have in your account?" "Tell me." For the first time in his life, Mark lied and claimed he had $800 in his account. He was terrified. The system then resumed regular operation. When she checked, she discovered that his account contained only $300, but because no one in this world can lie, she trusted him and gave him $800. Mark began to suspect that there was a problem with the system. Surprised, Mark returned home. As soon as he arrived, he paid his house rent and met his basic needs at home. Later that evening, he gathered with his friends and began discussing his new powers. However, because their language lacked a word for lying, neither Mark nor his friends were able to express themselves clearly. He kept changing his story, and his friends always believed him. After that, Mark asked one of his friends what he truly desired in life. His friend responded, "Brother, I want a girl. Life is becoming dull, and I'm not sure what will happen to me as I get older." Soon after, Mark left the bar and approached a woman he saw walking down the street. He stated, "If you don't get intimate with me, our enemy will destroy the world." The woman became scared and quickly led Mark into a room. Once inside, Mark attempted to communicate with her, but the woman was only motivated by a desire to save the world. Seeing her strange behavior, he pretended to make a phone call and told her that NASA had just called to inform her that the danger was over and there was no need to do anything else. When Mark saw his friends again, he asked what they wanted other than a girl. They responded, "Obviously, we want a lot of money." Later, while out with his friend was driving drunk. When a police officer stopped them for drunk driving, Mark lied again, claiming that his friend was not intoxicated at all and that he was a complete gentleman. To his surprise, the police officer believed him and released him. Mark then went to the casino with his friend. He bet on 28, but the ball landed on 35. Then Mark distracted everyone and managed to place his bet on 28 to win. To avoid suspicion, he quickly explained the situation in a way that convinced everyone. One bet led to another, and he kept winning until he had won a large amount of money. Now that Mark had mastered the art of lying, he began assisting many people. One day, he called Anna and asked for another chance. He assured her that he had completely changed. Hearing this, Anna decided to give him another chance. At the time, he was watching television and noticed that the news was praising something Brad had written. Then she had an idea and picked up some paper to begin writing a story. After that, Mark dipped the paper in coffee to make it look older. The following day, he visited the lecture film office to meet with his boss. He informed his boss, Anthony, that he had discovered some old documents in the desert that detailed the entire story of a spaceship crash. When Anthony heard this, he summoned all of the office workers and instructed them to pay close attention to what he was saying. He explained that a king saved the earth from aliens and then erased everyone's memories. According to the documents, for the next 700 years, a great man would spread this story among the people, and the final line stated that Lecture Film had made a massive film based on this story, after which Mark would become extremely wealthy and famous. After hearing all of this, everyone believed him and began clapping. Anthony then instructed Mark to start working on the film immediately. The following day, Mark took Anna to an expensive restaurant. She congratulated him on his success. After that, she asked about his family. Mark responded that his father was an alcoholic and his mother lived in a nursing home, but he intended to bring her out and give her a good home. Later, when Mark inquired about marriage, Anna replied, "Look, you may be successful and wealthy, but I don't want my children to end up looking as fat and messy as you." That was the end of the conversation. Shortly after, he received a phone call informing him that his mother's health had worsened and she had been admitted to the hospital. When he heard the news, he reached there. Mark couldn't bear her fear of death, so he lied to comfort her. He told her that after death, everything would be excellent. She'd lose all the wrinkles on her face, be young again, and in heaven, she'd have a big house with 4 servants who would massage her feet all day while you enjoyed yourself. Even the doctor standing nearby heard everything. The next day, when Mark returned home, he discovered a crowd gathered outside. People rushed into his home and began talking about death and life. He got inside with great difficulty, and when he turned on the television, the same news was still playing. At that point, Anna arrived and inquired about what he had told his mother. She had been told the same things and immediately believed him. She then told Mark that he needed to tell everyone the truth. Mark then goes outside and tells everyone that there's a mighty man in the sky who, upon death, gave everyone a bungalow, a car, a servant, ice cream, and so on. Even his boisterous relatives were impressed when they heard it. A woman inquired, "Brother, how do you know all these things?" He responded, "The man upstairs told me everything personally, right into my ear." Following that, the story spread hotly. All of the newspapers and news channels were discussing what Mark had said. Mark soon handed over his script to Anthony, and the resulting film was a huge success. As a result, Mark rose to great fame and wealth. Later, Mark tells Anna that someone said to him that she had never met a better person than me. Hearing this, Anna blushed, and they drew closer to share a kiss. But then she pulled back and said, "Mark, I love you, but I don't want my children to grow up to be fat and messy like you. What should I do?" In the evening, Anna arrived at Mark's house and informed him that she was going on a date with Brad because Brad was very sexy and handsome and would have cute, lovely children, and that she might even sleep with him. When Mark heard this, he became upset and explained that having intimate relations before marriage is wrong. Meanwhile, on her date, Brad kept complimenting and insulting Mark. The next day, as Anna was watching Mark's interview on television, her mother changed the channel and said, "Son, stay away from this disaster. You'll never succeed together. He has always been a loser, and his children will be fat and ugly." Anna disliked these kinds of words, but her mother forced her to speak with Brad. A few months later, Anna visited Mark's house. A man with a full beard and thick hair opened the door. "Oh my God, what a mess you have made." Poor Mark, holding her wedding card, told Anna to end her marriage with Brad. However, Anna ignored him because she believed that only with Brad would her children be born slim and smart. On the day of Anna's wedding, Mark's friend woke him up and made him shave. Then, in the midst of the wedding, Mark unexpectedly stood up in front of everyone and declared that Anna would be much happier with him. Hearing this, Brad suggested that he could ask the man in the sky what was best for Anna. Mark could have easily lied, but refused to deceive for the sake of love. Instead, he said, "Anna knows very well what is best for her," and then left the church. At that point, Anna stopped him and insisted that you could ask the man directly. Mark, saddened, responded that it was all just a story to make her feel better. Anna then asked him why he didn't lie about the marriage. He told Anna that he loved her wholeheartedly and wanted her love without any deception. Hearing his words, Anna became emotional and stated that she was beginning to have fat children. By this, the movie ends here. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like the video.